You ever see something so quick, so brutal, so unexpected, it just leaves you in silence? That's what happened at the legendary circuit in Belgium. A regular Formula 2 race turned into something no one could have ever imagined, something that would shake the motorsport world to its core. Everyone was hyped. It was race weekend, Spa was buzzing, the atmosphere electric. It was supposed to be a normal race weekend, just another Saturday in the world of motorsport. Fast cars, screaming engines, fans cheering from the stands. But none of that mattered just a few minutes into the race. Spa-Francorchamps in Belgium, one of the most iconic racetracks in the world. Every driver loves it. It's fast, it's flowing, and it's risky. A place that separates the brave from the great. On August 31st, 2019, Formula 2 was racing there, the support category for Formula 1. These were the young guns, hungry, fearless, pushing to prove they belonged on the biggest stage. Among them was a young French driver named Anthoine Hubert. If you followed the junior series, you already knew his name. He had won the GP3 championship the year before. In his first F2 season, he had already taken 2 wins. He was fast, smart, humble, everything you want in a future champion. People talked about him like he was going to make it to F1 soon. He had that vibe. The guy who doesn't need to brag. He just shows up, puts in the work, and delivers. That Saturday, everything seemed fine. The weather was good. The cars lined up, engines revving. The race started. Everyone took off. The first lap was clean. The field roared through Eau Rouge and up through Radillon, one of the most dangerous corners in the world. You take it flat out, no lifting, full throttle. If something goes wrong there, it goes wrong fast and hard. Then came lap 2. Giuliano Alesi, another driver in the race, came up through Radillon and suddenly, out of nowhere, his car spun. Boom, slammed into the wall. Debris flew everywhere. Tires, bodywork, carbon fiber. Bits of his car just exploded across the track like confetti in a hurricane. It wasn't clear why he spun. Maybe a puncture. Maybe something broke. But that crash triggered a chain reaction that turned into a nightmare. Ralph Boschung, another driver just behind Alesi, saw the mess ahead and immediately backed off. Smart move. He steered to the right into the runoff area to avoid the debris and Alesi's wrecked car, but right behind him was Anthoine Hubert. He was chasing Boschung closely. When Boschung suddenly slowed and moved over, Hubert had a split second to react. He didn't have a clear view. Maybe he thought Boschung was setting up to pass or avoiding something small. So Hubert moved right too, trying to follow, but then it happened. Hubert's front wing clipped the back of Boschung's car, just a tiny touch. But at those speeds, even a slight contact is deadly. His wing came off, and suddenly he was no longer in control. His car veered off toward the right side of the track, slamming into the barrier at a sharp angle. It was a hard, violent hit. That hit launched his car back into the middle of the track, and just at that exact horrible moment, Juan Manuel Correa, another driver, was coming up the hill at full speed. He had already hit debris, which had messed with his car's handling. He was trying to steer clear of the chaos, but then, right in front of him, Hubert's car bounced back into his path. The two cars collided in one of the most violent crashes anyone had seen in years. Correa's car hit Hubert's with a force that was beyond comprehension, more than 65 Gs. You can't even really picture it unless you've seen it. Imagine being hit by a truck, but 10 times worse. The sound was terrifying. The visuals were worse. The impact destroyed both cars. Silence fell over the track. Commentators were stunned. The cameras quickly cut away. Something was very wrong. Within seconds, marshals were running. Medical teams rushed in. This wasn't a typical crash. This was something else, something truly horrific. Correa's car was a wreck. Hubert's car was torn apart. The marshals did everything they could. They got Hubert out and took him to the medical center immediately, but the injuries were just too much. The news broke later that evening. Anthoine Hubert had died. Just 22 years old, his dream, his future, everything, gone in an instant. It didn't feel real. The paddock went quiet. Drivers were numb. Teams were heartbroken. No one could believe it. One moment they were racing. The next, they had lost one of their own. And this wasn't just any driver. Hubert was loved. He was kind, respectful, always smiling. He was the type of guy who helped others even while chasing his own dream. Drivers from F1 down to karting respected him. He was focused, but never arrogant, serious, but never cold. Juan Manuel Correa survived the crash, but barely. He had broken both legs and suffered serious spinal injuries. They put him in a coma to stabilize him. Doctors weren't sure if he'd wake up, and even if he did, walking again seemed impossible. Racing? Unthinkable. But even as he lay there, his family said he was asking about Hubert. He wanted to know what happened. That's the kind of bond these racers have. The accident shook the entire motorsport world. Fans cried. Drivers paid tribute. The next day, Formula One raced at Spa. But the energy was completely different. The joy, the excitement, it was gone. Charles Leclerc, who had been close friends with Hubert since they were kids, won his first F1 race that Sunday. But there was no wild celebration, just silence. A raised finger to the sky. That win was for Anthoine. The FIA launched a full investigation. Everyone wanted to understand how this could happen. Could it have been prevented? Could the barriers have been better? Was the track layout part of the problem? Was there enough runoff area? Was the car strong enough on the side? In the end, the investigators said there was no single cause. It wasn't about someone making a mistake or doing something dumb. It was a mix of things: bad luck, bad timing, and high-speed chaos. Alesi's spin, debris, Boschung's evasive move, Hubert's slight contact, Correa's line, all of it happened in seconds. It was a domino effect that no one could have predicted. But change came anyway. The FIA made updates. New gravel traps were added to Spa to slow cars down if they go off. Car safety was looked at again, especially side impact protection. Debris tethers were improved so pieces of cars wouldn't fly around so easily. They knew they couldn't bring Hubert back, but they could make sure his death wasn't in vain. His legacy lives on. Anthoine's racing number, 19, was retired from Formula 2. No one else will ever use it. It's his forever. An award was created in his name, given each year to the best rookie driver in F2. Every time a young driver puts on their helmet, they know his story. They carry that with them. And what about Correa? His comeback was nothing short of incredible. He spent months in a wheelchair, then on crutches, fighting through pain and rehab. He said from the start, he wanted to race again, not just for himself, for Anthoine, and in 2021, he returned to the grid. Not as a broken man, but as a symbol of strength. Every lap he drives now carries deeper meaning. The crash at Spa reminded everyone just how dangerous this sport still is. Yes, cars are stronger. But when things go wrong at 300 kilometers per hour, there's only so much protection you can have. These drivers know it. They don't talk about it much, but it's always there. Deep down, they love the speed, they love the challenge, but they also know the risks are real. That's what makes them different. They don't race because it's easy. They race because it's hard, because it takes everything you've got, because it's beautiful and brutal all at once. Anthoine Hubert lived for racing. He died doing what he loved. And while that doesn't make the pain go away, it does show us the kind of courage it takes to be a racer. It's about passion. It's about friendship. It's about a kid from France who chased his dream all the way to the top and left a legacy no one will forget. Every time someone takes Eau Rouge flat out, they'll think of Hubert. Every time a rookie stands on the podium, they'll think of Hubert. And every time a crash reminds us how fragile life is, we'll remember Hubert, not just the way he died, but the way he lived. If this story moved you, don't let it end here. Share it, talk about it, and keep Anthoine Hubert's legacy alive. Hit that like button, subscribe for more powerful motorsport stories.